Hey there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to input a double precision floating point number in C from the user into your program and decide whether or not it has succeeded or failed. Okay, so for starters, I just want you to know that this video is not about generating makefiles. If you want to learn more about how to make your own makefiles or how to compile, link, execute, or even the basics of C, see my other videos. For now, I'm just going to assume that you know how to make a makefile. Here it is, basically, very quickly. But I'm just compiling a simple program. Here's my program here. It's called main.c. It doesn't really have anything else to it. I'm going to start off by importing a couple includes, or a few includes. That'll just help me get some stuff that I need. So here's an include for the standard input-output. Here's an include for the standard library. Here's an include that helps with C-string functions. Here's an include that helps with limits. Not actually sure every single one of those includes is needed, but we'll see. Anyway, here's my main program, or I guess my main function, since this program only is just one module. Notice how we have a double called value here, and then we make a call to a function called getInput, and we give a pointer to the double as an argument to getInput. So basically, getInput should be able to just return to us the value by reference, and then getInput will be able to tell us whether or not it has succeeded, as in has the user entered valid input by its return type, or not its return type, but its return value. So the result is going to be a long from getInput, and that'll indicate success or failure. After that function runs, we're just going to print, getInput returned, and then print the return value that it returned, and then it's going to print the double that it inputted from the user, and then a new line. So nothing too big of a deal. Let me show you the main workhorse function that has all the logic you need to input from the user and check that the input was valid. So this is called getInput. I'm sticking it on top of the main function because I don't want to deal with prototypes right now. It's a better idea to put prototypes up at the top of your source code file if your source code is even a little bit complicated, but in this case, it's just one other function. So I will just put getInput on top of main. That way, when the compiler is scanning the source code, it will have already seen that getInput exists before main calls it, and it'll compile. So first thing I'm going to do is say that getInput returns a long, like we just saw, and it takes in a pointer to a double. No references, just a pointer. Then we have to create a character buffer, and what that's going to be for is basically, the user is going to type some characters, and I want that to go into the buffer. So line max is the number of characters that the buffer can hold, and that's I think where we have limits. I think limits is providing that for us, but basically, you could stick a number here if you wanted to, like an 8 kilobyte buffer if you wanted, like 8192 or just whatever. I'm just putting line max so that it sort of aligns with the system's idea of what the maximum size of a line should be. Okay, so then I don't know why I have it say grab side 1. I'll just say grab input here. Let me change my solution real fast. Grab input. That's probably because that was part of a program in the past. So then the function that I'm going to actually use is called fgets, which basically is saying let's input a string, a C string from a file, and we're providing the target for the input. So that's going to be the character string right there, and then we're going to provide the maximum number of characters that we'll accept, which is the length of the buffer. And then what file are we going to input from? Standard input. If you don't know standard input, see my other videos, but it's basically a special file handle that means when the program first launches, the operating system sort of gives it a special file handle for standard input, standard output, standard error. And so this will be basically the user typing on the terminal. So fgets will essentially take input from standard input, the user typing on the terminal, until they hit like a new line, or they disconnect the input buffer. It will take up to this many characters, line max, which should match the buffer, whatever value you put in the buffer. And then it will write the characters into the buffer. That's why you have to match the length of the buffer. So basically here, This function call will return something. If it returns null, like if it returns a 0, then that means we have failed. So if it returns null, then we're going to return a 0, meaning fail. So get input is kind of a Boolean, even though we don't have Booleans in C, and it's basically going to return a 0 on failure and a 1 on success. So like, 0 is a falsy value and 1 is a truey value. So we're not going to use system style return codes where 0 is success. We're going to use Boolean style return codes where 0 is failure and 1 is success. So you can see I've kind of chained two commands here. I've decided to say, all right, we'll first grab some input into the buffer array with fgets. If that is null, then we immediately return 0, because this logical OR operator says if one or the other thing is equal to a true, then just go ahead and evaluate to true. So here I'm asking, like, did the call equal null? If the answer is yes, then that part will evaluate to true, and then it'll basically short circuit the rest of that logical expression and just return 0 right away. And then if the previous command succeeds, like the fgets succeeds, then it will look at the buffer and try to scan it and parse it for valid input. So the left side is just taking raw input. The right side is parsing for a certain data type. So you can see sscanf, we're scanning a buffer that we put into the first argument. So that's, at that point, by the time sscanf gets called, the buffer should be filled with whatever input the user typed. So we're scanning that, and then here's a little formatting argument, which is very similar to, well, we can use the same tokens basically as printf. So, here we're saying %lf. So we're looking for a long float, which means a double precision floating point number. And that percentage just means, like, here's a special token that comes after it to describe what sort of value we're looking to scan for. So then if we're successful, if it actually scans, then we're going to stick that value into the double. So fscanf expects a pointer to the variable that's going to receive the value that has been scanned, if it is scanned correctly. So notice how the double, we don't have an ampersand in front of it because it's already a pointer, because it came into us as a pointer in the first place. So we're going to look at the buffer that the user just typed, the user just provided, and we're going to try to scan for a double precision floating point number. If we're successful, then the system should write that double into the variable referred to by the pointer known as the double. If all that succeeded, then the value should be greater than or equal to 0. If this command failed, then the value should be less than 1. So that basically means if we have a value of less than 1, then we have failed, and we're going to return 0. So now, whether the initial input fails or the parsing of the user's input fails, then we're going to end up returning 0 for fail. So then in main, you can see all we're doing is we're just calling on input. We're giving it a pointer to the double that we want to populate, and then we're looking at the result. So in your program logic, you can do something like, if the result is 0, then assume we failed, and if the result is 1, assume we succeeded, and respond to the user, or do something that's appropriate for success or fail. I think that's everything that I need to explain. Let's try to run the program now. Open a terminal. I'm going to do make run and see if that works. Maybe I'll do a clear here. Okay, so I didn't print any, prompting or anything special. So the cursor is just blinking at this point. I can just enter 33.12, I guess, whatever. Hit enter, and the program now says get input returned 1, which means success. So the value that I entered was a valid double, and the value is now 33.12. So it successfully grabbed the float. Keep in mind these zeros or just precision-related issues are related to the printing of the double, not necessarily related to what is inside of the double. So I'm just saying, print a long float. You can mess with printf a little bit more if you want to have a different value printed. or more precision or less precision printed. Let's try to do this with some invalid input. I'm just going to do some letters and hit enter. Notice how the value didn't actually change. It started, or actually it did change. It got set to a 0 because we initialized it as junk data. So it got set to a 0, but then more importantly, get input returns 0 as its return code. So when you see 0, that means the command failed, so you should not consider the double as valid in any way. You shouldn't use it. You should complain to the user or do whatever. And that is how to get input. Let's just try something for fun. Double value equals 3.333, and then we'll see if it gets changed on bad input. I'm assuming it might, but I haven't done this in a while, so we'll see. So bad input, and it looks like it did not change it. So whatever junk data was already in value by the time you called on get input, if get input failed, then the value should probably be unchanged. But again, more importantly, the return value is 0, meaning fail, because 0 is a falsy value. So I'm going to get rid of that so I can go back to my solution there. Okay, so now hopefully you're on your way to start getting input in C, at least in terms of longs. You can look up the formatting codes for printf if you would like to input different types of data. Like, so this video is just for long floats, doubles. You can look up all sorts of other tokens. I don't know, maybe in like 5 years I'll make another video that has different types of tokens, but I guess that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a little bit and had a little bit of fun. See you in the next one. Hey everybody. Thanks for watching this video again. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. I do hope you did learn something and have some fun. If you could do me a small little favor, could you please subscribe and follow this channel or these videos or whatever it is you do on the current social media website that you're looking at right now. It would really mean the world to me, and it'll help make more videos and grow this community. So we'll be able to do more videos, longer videos, better videos, or just I'll be able to keep making videos in general. So please do me a kindness and subscribe. You know, sometimes I'm sleeping in the middle of the night and I just wake up because I know somebody subscribed or followed. It just wakes me up and I get filled with joy. That's exactly what happens every single time. So you could do it as a nice favor to me, or you could troll me if you want to just wake me up in the middle of the night. Just subscribe, and then I'll just wake up. I promise that's what will happen. Also, if you look at the middle of the screen right now, you should see a QR code which you can scan in order to go to the website, which I think is also named somewhere at the bottom of this video. And it'll take you to my main website where you can just kind of like see all the videos I published and the services and tutorials and things that I offer and all that good stuff. And if you have a suggestion for clarifications or errata or just future videos that you want to see, please leave a comment. Or if you just want to say, hey, what's up? What's going on? You know, just send me a comment, whatever. I also wake up for those in the middle of the night. I wake up in a cold sweat and I'm like, it would really mean the world to me. I would really appreciate it. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, and enjoy the cool music as I fade into the darkness which is coming for us all.